Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedExForum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedExForum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
So if I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up JustinTimberlake.com.
D'Anthony Melton took my boys, my little guys, to the ice cream stand. He was like, I'm going to get ice cream. You want to go with? So he took my little guys to the ice cream stand. So, you know, guess who their favorite player is now? John Morant. But outside of that, you know, D'Anthony Melton's pretty high up on the list. How about this? We got youth small D'Anthony Melton jerseys at our house right now. Love D'Anthony Melton. That was a fun night.
It was a fun night, man.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzlies stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
We didn't talk about owling, and you're telling me you didn't know owling?
What the hell is an owling?
Owling is worse than Tebowing.
What is an owling?
How far can Kyra zoom out on this camera?
She can zoom all the way out.
Can she zoom out?
What are you doing?
I'm owling.
Okay. Wait, why were we doing this? What is that?
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
It's the top 5 worst teams in the NFL. I think the Panthers are the worst team in the NFL.
I got the Saints number 1. Ha ha ha! Let's put the Aints up there. They're terrible.
I'll take the Titans as my worst team in the NFL. If they played Will Levis, they're for sure the worst team. Maybe in NFL history. Might be worse than the 0-16 Lions if they play Will Levis.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Live from downtown Memphis, this is the Chris Vernon Show on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Chris Vernon.
Here we go. It's noon on GrindCityMedia.com. It's Chris Vernon Show. Welcome. It's a Thursday, November 21st, 2024 edition of the show. Today on the show, Grizzlies played a game last night at FedExForum. It has been quite the busy week with the game on Sunday and then this home back-to-back. They were able to stop thinking about the Denver loss on Tuesday night because they dropped the Philadelphia 76ers to 2-12 last night after their win. We will talk about everything that took place at the Forum last night and who the standouts were. We'll go over all the news and notes of the day. In addition to that, a Memphian, Braden Thornberry, just won the Korn Ferry Tour and is now set to begin a PGA Tour career. He was at the Grizzly game last night. Huge Grizzlies fan. May wear a Grizzlies logo this year on tour. He's going to join us in studio today, too. We got a bunch of stuff to get to. Sun's out. Smile. Let's do it. Turn it up. Yeah. Hope everybody's having a good day. All right, bunch of stuff to get to on the show today. Last night was a fun night at FedExForum. It got unnecessarily stressful there at the end of the game, but the Grizzlies were able to hold on and get a 117-111 win over the Philadelphia 76ers. Before I get to anything, I welcome John Roser to the show. John Roser, a.k.a. the Cologne Ranger, the Body Spray Bandit, Senor Sack, Johnny Backpole, Johnny Bearcat, Boogaroom Roser, John Asparagus, Johnny Neckcarp, John Lance. It's Yogi Roser. Hello, John.
That's a dub.
It is.
They did a double dub yesterday.
Devin Walker, not here. He is at the Mandatory Respect in the Workplace seminar because he has been disrespectful to us, and he needs to go to that. So anyways, he'll be here a little bit later in the show. As I mentioned, Braden Thornberry is going to be here. Super proud of Braden Thornberry, who was one of the great amateur golfers of all times, was part of a crazy Walker Cup team back in 2017. Obviously had a huge career at Ole Miss where he won 11 times, including a national championship, and has been fighting to make his way to the PGA Tour. And sure enough, this upcoming PGA season, we're going to get to watch him there. Also, massive Grizzlies fan.
Yes.
And was at the game last night. Also, last night, I've talked to you about like how we've got some of these great athletes that are massive Grizzlies fans now, that have become stars in their sport. And it's great to see Braden's going to be on the PGA Tour. I saw Brent Rooker again last night at the game. That's 4 games I have seen Brent Rooker at. And the crazy thing is, guy was one of the top 5 hitters in Major League Baseball, can just walk the concourse. Nobody has any idea who he is.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you said like, hey, this was one of the top 5 hitters in the major leagues, I'm like, really?
I mean, it does make you.
How cool.
Like, how many Major League Baseball players would I recognize if they were just walking around? Ohtani and Judge, I would recognize.
I'll tell you this.
Clayton, I feel like I would recognize Clayton Kershaw.
For sure. One night, a couple years ago, I met Mookie Betts at the game, and I would tell you, you would absolutely not recognize Mookie Betts is my size. You would absolutely not recognize Mookie Betts unless he was wearing like some kind of enormous chain or something that would allow you to know, hey, I'm richer than everybody here. Other than that, like he could just walk on the concourse, honestly.
Yeah.
And he's as good as anybody. Obviously, Mike Trout could do the same. But anyway, it's cool. It's been cool. There's been a lot of, the point is, there's been a lot of these great athletes, and now you're seeing, and I talked about this last week, it's all coming to fruition. These were all teenagers when the Grizzlies were on and cracking, and the core four were going, and the Grizzlies took over the city, and now they're in their mid to late 20s, and they're exploding in their own sports. But they've been Grizzlies fans for a long time, and it's that impact. And inevitably, right now, there are kids that are in high school or whatever. And I saw, I told you. What was it, last year? I guess a few years ago now, we did that bit with Calvin Austin that made me feel older than ever. And he's like, we used to listen to you on my way home from practice at Harding every day. My dad was a cop, and we used to drive home and whatever. And, like, Calvin Austin, they had, like, a monster Monday Night Football game a couple of weeks ago, right? And so what we're – and massive Grizzlies fans himself. And – it's like all those kids that were teenagers once upon a time, now some of them are in the major leagues, some of them are in the PGA, some of them are in the NFL, and it's super cool to see. And last night was a super fun night because you just wanted to get the Denver disappointing loss on Tuesday night in the Emirates Cup out of your system, and you really didn't know what to expect. Obviously, I was kind of shocked. I had not seen a line on that game all day, and in the pregame show, we do a bit at the very end where Rob gives out a 3-game FanDuel parlay. His hit last night, it was like plus 400 too.
All right.
But he won the parlay last night. Anyways, part of that is him telling us, what the line of the over/under was. It was like 4.5 or something. They were like 4.5 or 5 something point favorites, and I was like, they are. I mean, they're 2-11, and they got
4. Yeah.
Yeah, they're 2-11, and they got 2 overtime wins. But I guess it's the power of the team meeting and having your roster back, because it was announced that Maxey was going to be in the lineup. It was announced that Embiid was going to be in the lineup, and obviously they were going to have Paul George. So they haven't had their guys throughout this year. But watching them play last night, well, let's start with this, because this is fascinating. And I'm going to divulge what we were told before the game.
Yeah.
So we know a guy who's big in the autograph/memorabilia world. And so in all these different cities, there are guys like this that go and they'll go to team hotels and they will try to get autographs, or they will try to, get memorabilia or whatever the case may be. And they usually know where the visiting teams stay. And like, it's just a cottage industry, as you know. So anyways, we know one of these guys, and one of the things he told us before the game was, he's like, teams leave, like the first team bus, there's always 2 team buses, right? And the first team bus always leaves around like 5 o'clock. The second team bus leaves around 5:15. And that's pretty much the latest that you will ever see a bus leave for a game. Again, the game's at 7:05, right? 7. So the 5:15 bus, like in years past, like the media and whoever has traveled with the team or whatever, they're pretty much on the second bus. There's maybe some injured players, but most of the team is pretty much on that first bus every time you go. The only player that was always on the second bus that I know of for the Grizzlies was Zebo. Zebo was always there. Like Pete Pranica and Brevin Knight and like that whole crew, when they get on the bus to go over to the arena at 5:15, Zebo was on that bus. And then maybe like Chandler Parsons or whoever else was out for the season. But like Zebo was the second bus guy. But that's like the last bus that goes. So anyways, the whole point of this is memorabilia guy tells us yesterday. He's like, I've never seen this ever for a player. I've never seen it for a player that wasn't playing or is playing. He's like, Joel Embiid just left the hotel at 5:55 and then went to the arena and warmed up for 3 minutes. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And this guy has absolutely no reason to lie about this, right? He was just he was staked out. He's like, hold on now, this is weird, right? The big guy has not come out yet. And he's like, he finally came out. Like, so who knows? Maybe he was sick or maybe, who knows, right? Point was, it was a huge story yesterday that Joel Embiid is late to everything and that this is an issue. So then, obviously, Joel Embiid had a good individual numbers game last night. But it is weird to watch them because he does individually have these big numbers, but it's really not in service of everything else. It doesn't feel like if you watch Jokic, it's like, the whole thing is, theirs is just like a pick and roll, and then they throw it back to him at the free throw line, and then he makes a free throw line. And then every once in a while, he'll get down in the paint and do something. But it's like he got his numbers, but I'm not sure it really helped the collective here. But obviously, look, the guy is massively hobbled. He's got about 60 pounds of something on his left leg and falls down 25 times a game and is still just so crazy talented. He can have a game that I was not impressed with in the least. And you look at the end, you're like, wait, it's 35
and 11, yeah,
crazy. It's the weirdest 35 and 11 you could imagine.
Yeah.
So Grizzlies get up big in that game, and then not only stop playing, but interestingly enough, on a night that Taylor Jenkins became the all-time winningest coach in Grizzlies history. And rightfully so. The guy has done a tremendous job here. And I've talked about many, many times how good I think he is and how there are a couple of different things. I've covered every coach that's ever been here. And his team and players, and you saw this happen last night with some of the quotes from Bane and from John, from Jaren, et cetera. They swear by him in a way that has not, it's just not commonplace. Part of that is it being 2024 and coaches are much different now, right? There was the coach and the coach's guys, and then everybody's kind of got more of a family type environment, right? Yeah. Than in the past. It's not leader and followers, you know what I mean? And part of that is that guys make $500 billion now, right? And so, but there's a care factor that goes along with him and those guys, and they obviously have great relationships. But it was crazy. Last night, he becomes the all-time winningest coach, and, I mean, he did his part in letting that thing just fly away because it was one of those moments where it's like, bro, put Scottie Pippen back in the game. This whole, Desmond Bane or Luke Kennard or whoever could just bring the ball up and get the offense going. What's a catastrophe?
A disaster.
It was last year's Phoenix Suns, right? Last year's Phoenix Suns had all kinds of talent, has all kinds of shooting talent, but they didn't have a point guard. And then when things start to bear down at the end, you got to get into an offense, you got to run something, and you got to go get you a bucket. You need that guy to set it all up. And he doesn't have to be the guy taking the shot, but just set it up and set it in motion. And last year, that's what befell the Phoenix Suns, where we know out of every team in the NBA, they were the worst fourth quarter team. They got outscored by a bigger margin in fourth quarters. And in clutch, they were terrible. And it's like, this is all so correctable. You could just have a guy out there and let him start it and get it over to. Let somebody run off a screen. Let somebody get this offense going. And the Grizzlies went way too long without a point guard on the floor in a game where they were going to keep on playing. I was actually surprised Nick Nurse put Embiid back in the game down 20.
I was too.
I mean, they're down 20 with 6 minutes left to go.
Yeah.
But my God, if it weren't been for two Jaren fall down buckets, I mean, it just dried up completely, and you couldn't get a bucket to save your life. So it got nasty there, and it was such a strange deal because Jalen Wells is knocking down corner threes, and Jay Huff's knocking down threes, and they're flying up and down the court, and they're up by 20, and it's just euphoric, and the roof's coming off, and people are dancing in the aisles, and the whole thing. And then next thing you know, by the time I went to the postgame, it was like your relief. Like, oh, my God. Like that LaRavia pass to Jaren Jackson Jr. was a centimeter from getting picked off, and that turning into a 2-point game, and one of the most unbelievable collapses I have ever seen.
Yeah.
They were up like 20 with like 6 minutes to go when he put Embiid. I was like, he's really putting Embiid back in this game? Is this like punishment?
It was.
Oh, my God.
You've got the play-by-play. It was 115-100, and then they went on a 9-0 run.
It got gnarly.
Yeah,
really, last night. It was tough. It was a tough watch down the stretch, to say the least, because Reggie Jackson hit that three, and it's like, hey, I'm sitting there like yelling. I'm like, keep playing.
Keep playing.
Keep playing.
And they went
like
into...
They're going to keep playing.
And Philly did the thing that Denver did to him like all Tuesday night at one point, that fourth. And Philly just said, we're going in like a 3-2 zone.
Yes.
We're going to go in a zone, and you guys got to figure. And they had, just like they did against Denver, the same thing last night. They have no idea what to do when teams throw that at them. Like, they're just like.
Got a little time to figure it out.
Yeah.
Look, a lot of good performances all the way around, and they were able to win the game. But the most fascinating thing that came out of last night, outside of Taylor becoming the all-time winningest coach and some of the good performances that took place, it was great to see Bane get back cracking and look like himself and have that, like, swag and have that, where he got into it a little bit with Caleb Martin. And it was just nice to see him get back into the groove and look like himself.
If you notice that game, the first half, that second half took forever. And the reason is because they only called 12 fouls in the first half. They called 24 in the second half. And the reason for it, Hasseltine said there next to me, the reason for it, if you watched it, they started calling more fouls because they had to. Dude, like Caleb Martin and Kelly Oubre were going to injure somebody on our team. Caleb Martin was so mad at Dez.
Yes.
After that three, and Dez did the gun shooting at Caleb Martin just started pushing our players. Like the foul where he fouled Kennard on the three, dude, he shoved Jalen Wells to the ground in the back and then ran out at Kennard and fouled him. Like he was going to hurt somebody on our team. And Scott Foster was like, okay, this is enough. I'm going to start calling fouls. And so they did, because it was getting really chippy after that. But they were going, like, Caleb Martin was going to hurt somebody on our team.
So then, super fascinating thing happened after that game. Because I don't know. I didn't see this widespread last evening. So I'm wondering if you even know about what took place in the locker room after the game.
Ours?
Theirs.
No.
So they're going to go and ask Joel Embiid about this again.
Oh.
Right?
About the report?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they did. They asked him, and do you know what his response was?
What?
Earmuffs if you've got kids in the car. Because I'm going to say it word for word. He said, whoever leaked that is a real piece of shit. Joel Embiid sounded off after the 76ers loss Monday night, including after the details of a lengthy team meeting came out, including Tyrese Maxey talking about tardiness to Joel Embiid, surfaced through multiple reports, citing anonymous sources saying, whoever leaked that is a real piece of blank. We talked about a lot of things during the meeting, Embiid said. I don't want to get into details, but the whole Maxey thing probably took 30 seconds. But then again, it's Joel Embiid, so we've got to go and make everything blown out of proportion. Respect the third person.
Yeah.
I respect him going, but it's Joel Embiid. It's whatever. I'll take it all. I'm the reason for everything, so I'll take blame for everything. I mean, they are cooked.
Yeah.
They are cooked.
Yeah,
This is just bad. This is just bad.
Yeah, it is.
This is bad. And so anyways, then they say, hey, for what it's worth, Embiid and Maxey were next to each other in the locker room last night, and they're buddies. They're great. And Embiid said, that's the relationship we have, nothing malicious. I like when people are telling me what I'm not doing good, what I need to do better, even though that part, the tardiness, maybe happened once or twice when I wasn't playing. So I need to be better. I need to be perfect. I need to be on point, which I'm going to do, which I've always done. So, I mean, that's like, that's him dismissing it in a way, saying like, hold on, I'm not late to everything. I was late twice, and I was injured, and which, again, you could parse through that, and you could say, okay, it probably doesn't become public. It probably doesn't even become a thing. Maxey's not talking about it in front of everybody.
No.
If it's not a thing. And I just told you last night, we had a guy that was there at their hotel. The guy walked out of the hotel at 5:55. Like, that is crazy.
An hour before the game starts.
I've never heard of that.
No.
I've never heard of that. In 20 years, I've never heard of a guy leaving a hotel at 5:55 for a 7 o'clock game.
I'm sure it's happened before, but it's probably...
maybe if you had diarrhea.
Emergency reasons. Like you had a family emergency, like a phone call you were on the phone with.
Yeah.
Like, that. I've never heard of that, no. Somebody getting there an hour before the game.
Well, and also just going out and warming up for a minute.
Yeah.
You are the guy. You're the franchise guy. Now, they say, Stephen A. Smith was on TV and saying, like, hey, there's people that are telling me he's changed since he got that bag. Which is fascinating because he did get a $193 million extension.
Yeah.
Do you know right now, no matter what happens with him, he's getting paid a guaranteed over $300 million through 2028-29.
Woo!
Which will bring his collective amount to $515 million.
Good God.
He's made over $500 million and has never made a conference finals.
That's crazy.
And played about half of his available games.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Again, obviously, look, he's laboring. He's laboring. You watch him.
He is.
He's playing through.
He tweeted last night. He came out of the game, and then he said, like, he came back in. We were like, well, okay.
Bro, he's got about 30 pounds of stuff on that left leg.
He does.
It looks crazy.
It does. Like, his knees
and he's laboring. And it just speaks to how individually brilliant and talented he is that he's able to pull it off, do what he does.
Yeah.
Given the circumstances, because he is just not himself.
No, they're 2-12. The East is so bad that, like, dude, they could make the play-in. Like, that's not crazy. Just, like, even him hobbling around like that, and Maxey will be Maxey. Like, that, he had a bad first game back. He only played 20 minutes. He's on a minutes restriction. He couldn't make anything. But Maxey will eventually become Tyrese Maxey.
He should not have played last night.
No. But, like, if he does, Maxey becomes Maxey, and they have those two, even without Paul George. Like, they have those two. If Embiid's doing that even on one, like they're going to win some games in the Eastern Conference. But, like, dude, they're trying to win a championship.
Dude, I'll tell you this.
No chance of that.
No, well, and, come on. You could go back in league history. Teams that win at the highest level just don't start 2-12. End of story.
They don't.
They just don't, okay? And that Paul George thing looked like the same thing.
Yeah, it was the same. There's side-by-side photos of it. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's the same knee. And so the other thing is, it's very reminiscent of when we saw the Bucks in person earlier this year. It's like, yeah, dude, I get it. They've got crazy talent, but man, these vibes.
Yeah, they're not.
You watch these teams and the way they even communicate and the way they interact with each other when they're walking back to the huddles, when they're coming back out and whatever. And it just looks so disjointed.
It does.
You know who would tell you it's the reason it looks like that, Roser? Your beloved Zodiac GM has this.
Yeah.
Dead to rights. He said it's not a fit.
It's not a fit.
It's not a fit. The Zodiac GM. The Zodiac GM, he's got he says that, these energies, they're not the correct energies.
Where was his did he put
he said the Grizzlies are just out of control.
Oh no,
with synergy.
No, the Grizzlies, he said
one of the best he's ever seen synergy wise.
Oh. Yeah. Caleb Martin, Kelly Oubre, Kyle Lowry, Yabusele, Reggie Jackson, Andre Drummond, and Coach Nurse throws an imbalance of the synergy of Embiid, George, and Maxey. So Embiid, George, and Maxey is good synergy, but the pieces around them are not.
That's right.
Though the Sixers have the talent and experience to overcome this imbalance, also consider they haven't played to full health. But yeah.
That's what Zodiac GM says.
Zodiac GM, yeah, he says
he said the synergy, it's off.
Said the Grizzlies have their synergy rotation on point, A++.
Hey, guess what else? And guess what else? The Bucks. It's off. The Giannis Lillard thing was always off. It's not.
It was according to Zodiac GM. He said it was never a fit.
And I saw Zodiac GM. He was defending himself, and he said, "Look, I'm going to show you the championship-winning Bucks. I'm going to show it to you. And I'm going to list them all out there. And you're going to see everybody all the way down to Dante DiVincenzo and Bryn Forbes. And then you're going to see the coach, and you're going to see this is elite level synergy between these guys. Zodiac GM's onto something.
Well,
Zodiac GM is onto something.
Maybe for
look at this. This is A+.
Yeah, it said it is having players 100% compatible and synergy is very rare.
Very rare.
He didn't say how rare. It's very rare.
It's very rare.
Let's just say it's the only time it's ever happened. Let's just go with that.
But look, and we can roll our eyes at it, but I mean, you watch these teams and they look disjointed. They look like they're not together. And then this,
Do you think for maybe the 76ers that their synergy, and I think your pool guy may wonder, did Yabusele eat all of their synergy?
Oh, wow.
Your pool guy behind last
shout
out Hunter, calls into our post-game show. Great caller.
And he talked a lot about Yabusele's ass.
Having a huge ass.
Just a dump. I mean, I got to tell you, it looks when I saw Yabusele last night, I couldn't believe that's the same guy I watched dunk on LeBron in the Olympics.
Right?
I'm like, are we sure that's the same guy that dunked on LeBron in the Olympics?
He didn't look like that.
No.
He's
like tractor trailer.
Like cheesesteaks, man. He's been at like Pat's and Geno's in Philly, man. But, man, he can shoot it, though. That dude could not miss.
I like him.
Oh, he could not miss last night.
I like him.
Yeah.
I like him as a player. Plays hard. But anyway, yeah, they look like a mess last night. And honestly, I think Maxey played because of the article. I think it's one of those like, all right, now I got to go play.
Now I have to play.
Yeah. That one also, like, that's getting now. You're looking at that record, and it's like, bro, at some point we're going to be too far behind here.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, they're behind the Wizards. Not just by percentage points. Yeah. They have the worst record in the league. The Sixers do. The worst record, worst winning percentage in the entire league.
Yeah. Tough to watch.
That's crazy. They lost 5 in a row now. Yeah.
Tough to watch. But a good win for the Grizzlies.
Definitely.
Good win for the Grizzlies last night. And
Bane was the big one. I mean,
it's great to see him finally be himself.
Yeah.
It's the first time.
He hit that one at the end of the first quarter, and then the second quarter was awesome.
Right. One thing I do want to touch on is there was a news story that came out this morning about the NBA All-Star Game. And, oh, my God, they've tried everything. They've had players picking rosters and having a live draft on TV. They've tried, the international thing. They've tried the target score thing. And then last year, it was like, hey, we're in the middle of all these contract negotiations for billions of dollars for TV partners. Please take this seriously. Please defend. And then the collective group of NBA players made a total mockery of the All-Star game, and it was a waste of everyone's time. And so now, once again, we're going to make a change. And so what they've done this time is now they're going to do a 4-team style tournament for the All-Star game, which is going to have 2 semifinal games played up to 40 points, with the winners advancing to the final match up to 25 points. The first of its kind event is expected to serve as a quick burst competition that resembles pickup games where the winner moves to the championship round in single elimination play. Sources told ESPN last week that the NBA was in serious discussions to have 3 all-star teams of 8 players each, with the winner of the Rising Stars game taking part in the all-star game format. The 4 teams would face each other in matchups, for instance, Team 1 versus Team 3, Team 2 versus Team 4, and the winners move on to the final round. League officials discussed the new format on Friday with the competition committee consisting of governors, team execs, players, coaches, union personnel, sources said. Team execs, coaches, and players have discussed new all-star game concepts with league officials over the last 6 months, including extensive conversations in Summer League, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to say this. I am open to absolutely anything that's not what we watched last year. And the Rising Stars, where they have done that for the past couple of years, where they've done the Rising Stars and they've had like the 3 teams that they draft, or whatever, the 3 or 4 teams that they draft, and like Pau Gasol had a team and this guy had a team, whatever. That some of the Grizzlies have taken part, and Vince Williams took part in it, I think, last year.
We should have a couple this year.
I love that. It's my favorite thing that they do right now. I like the Rising Stars because I do think they play that thing out. I think once it's it's a short target score, and I do think they want to win it, and I am totally in favor of this, right? I just want to see, like, whatever you can do to make these guys actually play like real basketball, or, even if it's pickup, that's fine. But those games were fun. I remember a couple of years ago, Alvarado went crazy. You remember that in the Rising Stars game? Alvarado just like got on a heater and like he was pumping his chest and everything. And so I kind of like the format of just like kind of a round robin where these teams are playing against each other, and also where they're kind of drafting their teams. Because maybe, you know what? I mean, maybe we could just stick all the guys that have, like, the Jimmy Butlers and the Jokic's of the world who are not going to care or play no matter what. Like, just throw them all on a team that lets them get eliminated first, right?
Yeah, I just am okay.
I'm fine with whatever.
Just try something.
Anything.
Yeah, just fine. Try it. We'll see if it works.
Yeah.
We'll see if they play hard.
Because if they just ran it back and then just tried to encourage them to care again, I'd be like, all right, dude. I know the way this goes.
I think
it's going to be 200 to 189, and nobody's going to care.
I think the way to, I think another thing, it does fall on the players a little bit. Like, I do think
it's all the vets.
I think if LeBron and Durant and KD and those guys said, guys, we're going to play.
This is the reason
they're going to play.
This is the reason. This is Alvarado a couple of years ago at the Rising Stars. He was fun as hell in that game. Look, Jalen Williams on that court. And I also think the other thing, I like the Rising Stars team having a team in it because they will care.
They will care.
They will care.
Yes.
And look, and they're going to play and they're going to try because they're on the Rising Stars team and trying to make a name for themselves, which for sure will make the other guys try, right? As you said, it's all an impact thing, and it's like who's going to care. And the reason that that vets will care about this, Roser, is because you know who's leading the charge on all of this. It's Curry, because it's in his town.
Yeah.
Curry's going to be like the mayor for this whole thing.
Yeah, he will be.
He's the host. This is his town. He's going to be a part of this thing where they're trying to get, the other idea I loved, because the Steph Sabrina thing was cool last year. Do you hear what they're going to try to do this year? Now, this one is actually fun.
Caitlin?
With a partner.
Okay.
Clay.
Caitlin with Clay, Steph with Sabrina.
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
That would be.
I mean, obviously, they got to get Klay Thompson to agree to it.
Yeah.
Right? They got to get Klay Thompson to agree. I mean, he's the kind that might just say, you know what, I'm going to the Bahamas. Screw you. If I'm not making the All-Star team anyway. I'm not being a part of Golden State All-Star Weekend.
They'd have to pay him a ton of money to do it.
Maybe.
If not,
I could totally see him blowing off Golden State All-Star Weekend.
If not, dude, you get Durant.
Oh yeah,
you get Durant. Durant and Caitlin Clark against that would be awesome.
It would be.
because KD, once upon a time ago, he did the groundbreaking ceremony for that building for the Chase Center.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Anyways, look, All-Star Weekend, and look, hopefully Ja can make it back in time. Maybe Bane can get cracking, and if they have a good record by the time around, then the Grizzlies could have an All-Star. But we know for certain they should have some Rising Stars representatives. Jalen Wells, 100%. And as long as Edie's ankle's not bad, then you probably get Edie back soon. And you get Edie back soon, then you got a couple in that one too. You might be able to have some All-Stars and some because Jaren's got a chance at All-Star too. You got 3 cracks at All-Stars, and for sure at least 2 in that Rising Stars that could be a part of that, right? And they don't do that international anymore, right? They don't split it up like that anymore.
So I think they just.
I was just trying to find a way to slide my boy Uke in there.
Let's get Uke in there. 16 dimes. Somebody's got to pass.
You know what I mean?
Let's get somebody that passes.
I'm with it though. I'm with it. I'm fine. I'm fine with anything. I'm fine with anything different because outside of the year, the last time the All-Star game was good, we were there. That was the one in Chicago, and it was
awesome
because it was after Kobe died.
Yeah,
and they did the whole.
It was the first year they did the charity stuff, the target scores.
That's it.
Yeah,
and it was fun, and guys like played it out, and they really cared. Yeah. But that's 2000.
Yeah.
The Chicago one was great. That was in 2000. These are Yuki highlights.
That was my
yesterday.
dude. That Yuki freaking triple axel behind the back pass in that corner was amazing. Look at the elite bounce passer.
Yeah,
elite bounce passer.
You know, I want to give people a heads up. Do we know if he's going to Chicago or not? Because you guys have 2 this weekend, right?
Yeah, we play tomorrow night and Saturday night.
I don't want to tell people to go down there to see Yuki.
Yeah, I don't know. I do not know yet.
You don't know?
I have not heard. I have not heard anything. I think I would venture to say
I wouldn't be surprised if he is because
if Yuki is with the hustle, that would be good news for Grizzlies fans.
Because that would mean Ja's on his way back. Well, right. Smart was on the bench last night, so you imagine Smart's back by this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, I did not get to mention this. Shout out to Cam Spencer.
Yes, Cam Spencer, yeah.
I mean, we thought he was having his foot amputated, and next thing you know, do you know Fish told me last night, he said Cam Spencer was there at like 5-something and like working out, like hardcore, like just.
I saw him.
Okay, said went back in, then came back out, full uniform, full warm-ups, the whole thing, and got up another 100 million shots. And Fish is like, bro, he's like, the guy made like 90% of the shots he took.
Devin and I were because I was down there on the court with Dev before the game. Yeah.
And I mentioned it to someone, and they're like, I'm going to say this in a nice way. They said, bro, he's legit a basketball psycho.
Yeah.
And I was
crazy.
Like, and I was like, what? And they're like, no, dude. Like, that's not because he's coming back from injury. Like, that's who that dude is. And, you know, there was, I'm going to tell somebody that he did this, like, he did this deal with fans. And I know one of the fans that was there. And they were like asking him all these questions, whatever. And they were like, did you say that you had like never had a girlfriend? He's like, I've never had a girlfriend. He's like, I've been focused on my dream. And they're like, what? He's like, basically, I don't have time for a girlfriend.
Yeah.
I was trying to be an NBA basketball player. And it's like, this guy is
crazy.
Maniacal.
Yeah. Maniacal about basketball.
Maniacal about basketball.
Him.
They say he 3 hours of shooting before the game last night. And then it's his moment. You know, he's got butterflies in his stomach. You know, he's going great. And if you go back and find it, the last 3 minutes of the first quarter, with 3 minutes left to go in the first quarter, Cam Spencer runs to the scorer's table. And I'm like hitting everybody. I'm like, dude, he's putting him in. This is going to be Cam Spencer's debut. We haven't seen him. We haven't seen him since Summer League. He got injured right before training camp, so no training camp, no preseason, no nothing. We didn't know what the heck was going on with him. He's at the scorer's table. And he's at the scorer's table for 3 minutes.
He was.
There was no whistle.
No
out of bounds.
No.
No nothing. He stood at the scorer's table for 3 minutes. And for the last 3 minutes of the quarter, there was never a stoppage in play. And so he's standing there, and with 19 seconds left in the quarter, somebody gets fouled. And they go to the free throw line, and I'm like, oh, this guy finally.
And Taylor sent him back to the bench.
I'm like, dude, please tell me that was not his one chance at a debut. And now, because the game was like tied by the end of the first quarter, right? It was 31-31.
Yeah.
And then he ended up putting him back in. Hey, look who it is. Devin Walker's here. Microphone Mangler, Senor Quasadilla, Mr. Math, Navajo Joe, the reporter, the photographer, Sir Hess. He's Walker 93. I hope they taught you.
Are you going to respect us? Are you
respect-
going to respect us now?
You better respect me and Roser.
No, they didn't teach me that at respecting the workplace training, but I did learn how to respect everybody else. So,
it's not us. Oh, not us.
I passed. I passed. I made it out. They freed your boy, but we here. You talking about Cam Spencer, huh?
Yeah,
dude,
with them big ankle braces on.
Bro, you see him?
Yeah, I mean, nothing is funnier than you. You know you're about to throw up because it's like, dude, my whole life I've worked for this moment, and that joker had to stand at the scorer's table for 3 minutes
and ponder.
What are the chances that the ball never, like, there's never a stoppage, and then you get sent back to the bench, and I'm like, oh, that is raw.
I mean, after you warmed up in your full uniform for 45 minutes.
Yes.
Did you see that?
Bro,
he warmed up for 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
I just how about this? Fish told me he had already warmed up
like
earlier in the day.
He did.
No, he's a psycho.
Yeah.
He's a for real.
Ball is
he's
life.
a basket.
Ball
is life.
Okay,
it really is
life.
life.
I was out there. He warmed up at 3:45, full workout, full sweat. They do a walkthrough at like 4:20. They come back out. He comes out full uniform.
Warm-ups, whole thing.
Warm-ups, ankle braces, game shorts, game jersey, and just shoots, sits down, gets back up, shoots around again. I'm like, bro, what is this dude okay?
No, he's not. Ball is life, Devin. All right.
I like Cam Spencer, man.
All right, give me your thoughts on last night's game before we have to go to this break because you
Grizzlies
came in
done,
late.
Man. I love it.
It got unnecessarily stressful.
Yeah, if Jaren doesn't meet that pass from Jake,
Oh my
it gets a little
God.
spooky.
Yeah. That was.
You would have had to retire playmaker.
It would have been tough because it was up to that point. It had been a great game.
It had
for the playmaker Jake Hive.
How many times did he get matched up with Drummond or Embiid and he held his ground?
He held his ground.
Even Embiid tried to hump him at one point.
Yeah, Embiid had him like bear hugged.
Stop trying to hump our boy Jake.
Yeah, 7 of his 11 in the fourth quarter.
Our boys 12 and 13 and 22 set the tone.
Yep.
Then everybody just kind of fell in line.
That's
Jake
right.
hooped. Luke hit some threes.
The only thing that was the
locked
best,
up on defense.
and Taylor, who we lauded for becoming the all-time winningest coach. I mean, it is so ironic that this became the game because that last 6 minutes was not his greatest work. I mean,
who are we talking about?
Taylor.
Oh yeah.
Us trying to play that out without a point guard in the game.
Yeah.
But he just put him back in. Do you realize we're not getting, like, we can't get a shot?
Yeah.
Like, this is, like, they've locked in, and now everybody's just standing around. Everything went to hell, and it's like, bro, you can't just have Luke or Dez. Like, we look like last year's Suns.
Yes.
So, hopefully, that is a live and learn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Again, these are not issues when you have Ja Morant on your team.
No, I love how when the best guys played a good hefty amount of minutes too.
Yep.
Like I think Dez played 35 minutes and then Jaren played 30 minutes. Like,
and this was
like one of those I got to go win this.
And it was a blessing of, yes, let's get the Denver game out of our system, and we don't have a game until Saturday.
Yeah.
Right?
Y'all can wrestle.
So they've got off today, they've got off tomorrow, and then they don't play until Saturday night in Chicago. You know.
Shout out Jake LaRavia.
And now you look at the schedule, it's 5 winnables.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
5 winnables in a row.
Portland, Detroit.
You can make a run here.
New Orleans, Pacers, right?
That's right.
Chicago Saturday.
That's right.
We got to beware.
Let's go on a run, bro.
Beware the Zach LaVine.
For sure.
Beware the Zach LaVine.
But I mean,
yes.
I think I don't know if they'll be favored versus Chicago, but it'll be a tight line. But they should be favored in the rest of them.
They are 1-5 at home.
Wow.
5-5 on the road. 5-5 on the road, 1-5 at home.
I mean, in fairness, we had them down 20 and just let them off the hook.
Yeah.
So, I mean, should be able to take care of this.
And with as it was when we played them then, it still is true now. 2 fastest paced teams in the league. Bulls won us 2.
So I told you about this awesome story that is Braden Thornberry, who is a massive Grizzlies fan, is now going to be the guy we're rooting for on the PGA Tour this upcoming season because he got his tour card. He was at the Grizzly game last night. We'll get his thoughts on the Grizzlies and on becoming a PGA Tour pro. Thornberry's going to join us in studio on the other side. Chris Vernon Show.
Who will lead the Grizz in steals this season?
I'm going to go with Pippen for steals this season.
So I'm going to go with Jaren.
I'm going to go, as long as he's in the rotation, I'm going to go Jake LaRavia for total steals, and I'll have Marcus Smart in my back pocket for steals per game.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz Beat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Goldberg announces he's going to have a retirement match in 2025, and he said this on College Game Day.
We know you're trying to ride the coattails because the 2025 is supposed to be the year of John Cena. Goldberg, I have a message for you, my guy. We don't care about your retirement match. Your retirement match was 3 years ago. Go somewhere, go away.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedExForum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
So if I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up JustinTimberlake.com.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
D'Anthony Melton took my boys, my little guys, to the ice cream stand. He was like, I'm going to get ice cream. You want to go with? So he took my little guys to the ice cream stand. So, you know, guess who their favorite player is now? John Morant. But outside of that, you know, D'Anthony Melton's pretty high up on the list. How about this? We got youth small D'Anthony Melton jerseys at our house right now. Love D'Anthony Melton. That was a fun night.
It was a fun night, man.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
We didn't talk about owling, and you're telling me you didn't know owling?
What the hell is an owling?
Owling is worse than Tebowing.
What is an
How
owling?
far can Kyra zoom out on this camera?
She can zoom all the way out.
Can
Are
she
you gonna
zoom
hit us?
out?
What are you doing?
I'm owling.
Okay. Wait, why were we doing this? What is that?
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard, bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Welcome back to the Chris Vernon Show on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, back to your host, Chris Vernon.
Throwing dead presidents. Look alive. Party is the evidence. It's a vibe. Celebrating excellence. We survive. Two-seater snapping, girl. I'm happy it's just you and I. Throwing dead presidents. Look alive. Party is the evidence. It's a vibe. Celebrating excellence. We survive. Two-seater snapping, girl. I'm happy it's just you and I. Yeah. Just be cool. Just be cool.
We're back, Chris Vernon Show. All right, so we were talking about the game last night, and there's a dignitary at the game last night. In fact, at the Ole Miss-Georgia game just a few weeks ago, a game that Ole Miss won, in fact, before the game, if you were there, they honored in Oxford, Mississippi, the great Braden Thornberry for getting his PGA Tour card, an Ole Miss great, and now a PGA Tour pro. You were at the game last night, and?
I mean, it was – the 76ers are definitely in shambles, you can tell a little bit. And Embiid was interesting with that knee brace and just how he was flopping around the whole game, him and Jaren getting into it and everything. But I'm happy with the Grizzlies, honestly, that they're as hurt as they are and they're still kind of winning games. So that's a positive, I guess, for the future.
I've talked about this. All right, so first let's talk about the Grizzlies fandom, because there's so many of these guys I mentioned that I saw Rooker last night at the game. You were at the game, and there's this group of guys that are now in like their mid to late 20s that are excelling at their sports. Rooker in baseball, you in golf. There's all kinds of people that are at these games now, and I can only imagine that you guys were all fans like by the time you were in high school, right? Mm-hmm. Like this was your team when you were coming up, and that was the Zebo Grizzlies, the Tony Allen Grizzlies, that whole group, right?
Yeah, so when I was like really young, it was when the Grizzlies were struggling. Like when I was growing up, everybody was talking about how bad they are, all that kind of stuff. And I don't know exactly the years, but I remember that was like my first like thought of the Grizzlies. And then, then it was like right into that, Marc Gasol, Zebo, Tony Allen, Mike Conley, all them. And so that was exciting to kind of get in that era. And then it was kind of felt like a little bit of a dead era again. And then now with Ja and everything, it's amazing. And I haven't been able to go to, just with as much travel and everything, I haven't been able to go as many games as I would like to over the last like couple years. But it's been nice that one of my sponsors, Simmons Bank, they have a box in there, and I would like buy tickets and go to the game, and they're like, we have like this box every time. I literally just couldn't remember it for like 2 years. So finally, last night was the first time that I actually reached out on time, got the tickets, and like went in there and everything. So that was good.
That's awesome. All right, so we're gonna start at the beginning with you, okay? So you grow up where?
In Olive Branch.
All right,
Mississippi.
And at what point do you get a golf club in your hands?
So when I was like 5, my dad would like take me to the course. He was a good player, like scratch, one handicap, something like that. And, just he was a weekend golfer with his friends, and I would go out there and just tag along when I was 5 or so. But I was riding dirt bikes and doing all kinds of stuff, playing baseball, just kind of regular stuff. And then I had a couple dirt bike injuries that my mom was like, no more with that. And so then I transferred over to golf when I was about 10, and that's kind of – I picked it up quick. Like I played my first tournament, like I've been playing golf for like 2 or 3 months. So like that's all I've ever known is playing tournaments. Like I'm probably more comfortable playing a tournament than I am just like casual golf. Like play better too. It's weird. Most people, I guess it's good that way, but most people are the opposite.
It's good if that's your job.
Yeah. But probably around, I would say, I don't know, 12 or 13, my dad kind of was like, do you want to take this like serious and like be pushed hard, or just like have fun with it?
Did they get you lessons or something? Or you were just a natural?
I guess kind of a little bit. Like I didn't get any lessons. I just really enjoyed practicing, which is like, I guess, a blessing in itself. And
Wait. Who taught you?
That's Riddle love practicing.
Yeah, who taught you how to play?
So my dad taught me the basics.
He taught you the basics.
He was a good enough player to like know, to get me started and all like the fundamentals, all that kind of stuff. And he got me the basics, and then basically I was able to kind of run from there a little bit. And he would kind of acted as my coach probably the first, I don't know, basically 5 years, or even through like high school. He was the person that I would like talk to about the golf swing and stuff. But
this makes sense to me, because I don't know, if you guys got to go watch these videos of him. If you watch him, see if we can down in the video studio get a video of Braden. Braden Thornberry, I'm sure there's a million of them on YouTube. You could never teach somebody how to swing like you.
Well, so how
have you
my
ever
swing,
seen his swing? His swing is crazy.
How my swing kind of developed was I had, like most people, kind of a natural like coming over the top move when I was like 10 or 11, and my dad basically he was basically like Fred Couples move, like out and in, like force yourself to do that for a little while, and like once that's ingrained, like it takes all the other out. You can't go over the top if you're taking it out to start, or you literally would miss the ball. So kind of got that movement going, and then really like he kind of got me started with the fundamentals, and I just loved like grinding and practicing so much when I was little, which now it's like it feels like a little bit more of a job, like being out there every day and stuff. But like when I was a kid, I was just obsessed with it. Like Christmas Day wanted to go, Thanksgiving Day wanted to go, like just begging anyone to take me. So it was kind of
at a course, or are you going to a driving range, or are you doing it in your backyard?
So I started. So where I was living in Olive Branch, Wedgwood and Cherokee were right there beside me, and that's where I was going. And like I would just spend hours on the chipping green, really, and that was like my strength was never ball striking like growing up, but like the courses are short enough and stuff that really, if you have a good short game and putt good, which was my just like crazy strengths over anything, like I was just playing amazing in this local stuff where it was short, easy courses and stuff like that. And then as time has progressed and getting into amateur golf and big junior golf and stuff, I've had to develop like obviously hitting it better, so which I have, and my swing's gotten a little more quote unquote normal, and but yeah, kind of just trying to continue to develop as a player. And the thing with golf, and I guess every sport, is it never really stops. Like you never make it. Like so, you're trying to always, if you're 300 in the world, you're trying to get to 200. If you're 200, you're going for that top 50. And unless you're the number one player in the world, winning every week, like there's never a ceiling.
But this is what you loved to do when you were a kid. So you just wanted to be going and doing it all the time.
Yeah.
And then I guess you start to have some success by high school, right?
I think I got a little addicted to the winning a little bit. I've always been someone that, I had friends that were, also good players in junior golf, and they would kind of already limit their schedule, play just the big events, all that. I would play the big events and the small events because I wanted to just keep winning. Like I wanted just the confidence of like, beating people up every week and just like continue to shoot good scores. And like, I think that's been
So you've got to have just a bazillion trophies.
Sheesh. A good bit. Yeah.
Where are they?
Well, so they were at my parents' house, and then we kind of had to downsize a little bit. They just moved and built a house down in Byhalia, so they had to basically downsize, keep the important ones. Some of them, they would take like the plaques off of them and like keep them and stuff. But honestly, like all the junior golf ones, I don't even know where they are now. So. Yeah, this video is from college at the.
It's like a video game. It's like a video game swing. It's like you flick the stick back and flick the stick up.
Yeah.
You could never, you could never teach someone how to. You would never start someone learning how to play golf and say, "Watch this," in order to learn how to swing a golf club.
I think too, like I said, with my dad, kind of getting me that outward motion to start, and then me practicing short game so much, it's almost like I don't know how to word it, like an extension of the short game, the way I was swinging. Like I wasn't swinging like a robot because I'd never been taught. I was just doing what felt right.
Yeah.
And like my short game was always my strength. So I think the way my swing moved back then, it's a little different now. I could pull up a video, but it's a little bit different now, like a little bit more like normal, I guess, or more efficient, whatever you want to call it. But then I think it was almost like an extension of the short game a little bit, where I was just feeling it out. Like instead of feeling out the 40-foot chip that I need to like hit a little spinner, like I'm just feeling it out from 180 yards. So it's kind of like the same idea.
So by the time you get to high school, and you start winning all these tournaments, are you thinking, I'm locally good and I need to go and play people from all around? Like at what point are you now going and you're playing against people from all over the country to realize I'm not, just Wedgwood or Cherokee Valley good, or even Mississippi or Memphis good, but I can compete against kids that are from California, Texas, and Florida, and everywhere else?
Well, I would say the good thing with golf compared to other sports is it scores, so you can kind of compare yourself based on that more. Like, if you're in baseball or something, like if you're not playing against these good pitchers and stuff, you don't know exactly what you're like, how you're lining up. But in golf, like I knew the scores were good and where they needed to be and everything. And I think when I was probably 13 or 14, I won the Future Masters in Alabama. And that was like, all right, this was kids that were coming from it wasn't, every good 13, 14-year-old, but it was a lot of them from the Southeast and some from California and all that kind of stuff. And
are any of them now pros?
Yeah, if you look at that leaderboard, there's all kinds of people on there.
What year? Find it, Devin. What year? 2000 and what?
I was probably 13, so 2010 Future Masters.
2010 Future, and so this is
people,
This is 13 and 14-year-olds.
I haven't looked at this leaderboard, but I know there's definitely a couple. If you go back any of this kind of stuff, there's like always like random names. Even some guys will finish 30th, and you're like, that's Cameron Champ down there, or like whatever.
When you were 14 years old.
2011, he said.
Okay.
Probably 2010.
2011 Future Masters.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Give me a second.
But yeah, so that was kind of the moment that I was like, all right, like I can do this. Like I love working hard already, so there wasn't necessarily like I can work harder at this, but it was like very validating. And
what, you found it?
I found it. Hold on, give me a second.
The 2011 Future Masters?
I found the photo is hilarious. Yeah, the photo is funny as hell.
Put it up if we got it down there.
On the photo, bro. Hold on.
Oh, that's great. All right, go ahead. Yeah,
okay,
finish.
so yeah, that was when I kind of feel like I nationally was like, all right, I'm right here. Like I can do this. I can be recruited to college, all this kind of stuff. And then so kept doing my thing, kept playing locally and nationally, which I like doing that. I like to just play as much as possible, like we said. And then I started playing AJGAs, which are like the PGA Tour of, junior golf, basically. There's just kind of a tour all over, and it's just good talent every week there. And I won a couple of those, one when I was 15, and just started kind of picking those off randomly. And, worked up to where I was one of the best junior golfers, and then got recruited to Ole Miss. I think I committed like between freshman and sophomore year, so it was super early.
High school?
Yeah. So golf did it super early.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so that was...
Did you have a normal high school experience? Because how are you this amazing junior golfer playing in all these tournaments or whatever, but at the same time, like... You're a kid.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Yeah,
look at him. Look at him.
Oh,
look at him.
Look at that shirt.
Hey, that boy
Swagger.
I wonder who else we got in that picture down there. I can't tell.
So clean, man.
In fourth place in your age group, the 13-14 age group, Sam Burns.
Yeah.
Sam Burns finished fourth, yeah.
Yeah, you look through a lot of these college tournaments and stuff and junior tournaments, all that kind of stuff that you didn't even really think about at the time, and you'll see like, oh, there's 6 guys that are on the PGA Tour now in this field.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
your high school experience.
Yeah, so I missed like my graduation to play in a tournament that I actually lost by 1 to Sam Burns. We kind of were right in there a lot because we were the same age and stuff. And that was out in Phoenix. It was the Thunderbird, like an AJGA Invitational and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, just like I guess when you rise to the top, I guess of each like junior golf, you get kind of the top. Then you get recruited to college. You're like, all right, I got to start over essentially because there's just none of the rankings, anything like that carries over. So like, all right, I got to do it again. And got off to kind of a slow-ish start my freshman year of college, and like just really was more the change of everything, like just having to do workouts 3 times a week, having to be, workouts, class, 18 holes of qualifying, and just really the adjustment to all that kind of stuff. And it wasn't on my own time. Like I had to just follow someone else's schedule. That was tough for me at first.
Plus, you're at an SEC school, right? Like and then you pop onto campus, and now you're at an SEC school. You're at Ole Miss, which is a super fun school, and it's football season.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that can't be.
You're trying to, like,
it's not an easy transition.
You want to be, you want to be like a normal student in some ways, like going to the games and all that, but then you have to make concessions too. Like I wanted to be a PGA Tour golfer, so like I was like, I have to be willing to make concessions there as well. So I was trying to do that balance, and I think I did a pretty good job of it. Like I really enjoyed my time at Ole Miss, and but yeah, like Coach Malloy and Coach Ellis.
You don't feel like you missed out on a bunch of stuff chasing your dream.
I'm not a huge I don't know if I would have enjoyed like the frat scene or anything like that, honestly. So it was kind of perfect for me. I got to kind of pick and choose what I wanted to do, and then also golf, which I wanted to do. So it was kind of a perfect scenario for me. I got to go to Ole Miss, go to the games, but then also play tournaments in Hawaii and Cabo and Puerto Rico.
But then by your sophomore year, you blow up.
Yeah. So
like you're winning everything. You win the national championship, the whole 9, right?
Yeah. So I won 2 at the end of my freshman year, and I was like, all right, like I've settled down. I figured this out a little bit, like kind of what's going on. And then sophomore year, really, I don't want to say it came out of nowhere because I'd won the 2 there, but I was like, all right, let's have a good year, like kind of keep building. Like we're here for 4 years. I have time. Let's keep building. And it just kind of went crazy sophomore year. And I was like, all right, this is sick. Like I'm really just popping off every week, and not necessarily playing way over my head, but it just felt like everything was going well. Like I had the momentum. When I needed to shoot a good round, I did. And it was like, it came kind of quick though, so I wasn't quite ready for it. And
why do you think you were so locked in by your sophomore year? You just settled in?
I think I settled into the system that like Coach Malloy. It's very intense. Like with the workouts and the practice and everything that like I think I was very.
What's a golf workout?
Pretty much the normal thing, honestly. Like we worked out.
You're going to a gym.
We went to the basketball, the TUI Center down there, and we had in an hour we'd start with cardio and do all the normal stuff. So like deadlifts and all that stuff. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, which a lot of. It's kind of a.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's kind of a controversial deal a little bit with some teams because like guys stay more hurt in college than they do before and after because because a lot of guys haven't worked out like seriously like that, and all of a sudden you're like doing max stuff with like deadlifts and all, and it's like. some people can't handle that stuff when you've never done it. So like guys would stay a little, their backs would stay tweaked a little bit.
You think it helped you?
Yeah, I think it helped me a lot because I was not in very good shape. Still want to be in better shape than I am now, but was not in very good shape when I got to college.
But you've lost a lot of weight over the last couple of years, even.
Yeah, and I've
because
replaced.
I saw pictures of you even a couple of years ago, and I'm like, damn, man, how much weight are you down from even what you were?
I mean, probably similar weight, but just replaced a lot of it with muscle. Like probably gained 15 pounds of muscle since then or whatever in the last 6-7 years. So it's been. So to answer the question, I guess when I bought in right away, like that was never an issue. It was hard, but I was like, this is what I got to do, like because I had the ultimate goal of getting to the PGA Tour. Like it's kind of a stepping stone in my mind. And I was like, this guy, Coach Malloy worked with Brooks Koepka at Florida State too. So I was like, he's seen it. He's not just making stuff up. Like he's seen the route. And so I was just like, I'm going to follow this, even though it's hard. And I did that. And then I think to answer your question,
realize that the same coach at Florida State.
He was the assistant at Florida State then.
Wow.
Yeah. So he was, I don't know what years that was, but he was there with Brooks like pretty much, I think like all 4 years. So he saw that development, and I was like, so he knows what he's doing.
He knows what it takes to get the guy, and he knoes what the best of the best looks like.
I want to ask you, because did you know any of the football players? 'Cause I'm looking at this roster from 2017.
Dawson Knox, I knew pretty well.
AJ Brown.
I had a class with DK.
I'm like, hold on, bro. It's DK Metcalf's on this team.
They were loaded.
Jordan Tiamu was the quarterback for that team. You should have seen who he was throwing to. It was Elijah Moore, DK, AJ Brown, Dawson Knox.
Yeah, this team is stacked,
it was loaded, and we went like 6-6.
And they 6-6, and they were telling you get out of the weight room, golf.
Golf guy, get out of the way. Like I'm a national champion, bro.
You're in there doing deadlifts, and DK Metcalf walks in. Oh no!
It was so fun. We had a computer class with DK, and he like walks in one day, and they'd have like checkers or whatever, and the teacher would like check if they were attendance or whatever. And he like got in there for 5 minutes, and he gets his stuff to walk out. And the teacher's like, if you leave, like I gotta like mark you out. And he's like, I don't care, and just walked out. It was like his last semester after he might have even like dropped it because I think this was like the spring after his junior year. So he's already gone to the draft. Yeah. He was like, I don't care, bro.
I didn't come to play school, bro.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
All right, so let's go back. Sophomore year, you're going crazy.
Yeah.
It culminates with you winning the national title, right? Where do you go from that, right? I would think that's the issue, right? It's like, okay, I've done the college thing, and I just won the national championship. Look at this leaderboard.
Yeah, it's like all these leaderboards are always. We had such a strong team right there. Yeah, Scotty was leading star in the last day. It was cool. So my Coach Moygan.
And then you hunted him down.
They saw it was windy the last day. Just the tournament that I just won too. It was like I've always kind of done well when it's really windy. I think just the feel.
Then let's head to the British Open.
Exactly. Yeah. Florida.
You should win the Open.
You've got it, and you've also got like the British Open name. People will think Braden Thornberry, right?
Yeah, they would definitely think you're British.
Yeah, you sound like you're from there, right?
No, I'm from Mississippi, dog.
So this was a windy day as well.
This was a windy day, and I remember he didn't tell me at the time, but he talked to the rest of my team because we'd missed the cut, and so it was just me playing the last day, which was kind of cool because they were all watching me all day. And he told the team before, not me, but he was like, don't be surprised if like Braden wins today because like the way this wind is, a lot of guys are going to freak out and stuff. And if he'd have told me that, I probably would have gotten my own head about it. But so I just went out there and just kind of started playing my game. And all of a sudden, like a bunch of people were like 3 over through 5 and all this. And all of a sudden, I'm in the lead.
Wait, why are you good in the wind?
I don't know because
do you hit it low?
Is it your swing?
No, I'm not even particularly good at like flighting the ball. I just like. I think that,
you don't care.
I guess, yeah. I'm like
no, seriously.
Yeah, I think
like you are one of those that I've heard you talk before. I heard you on with my buddy Colt Nost on the Subpar podcast where you were like, everybody's so mathematical and they're doing all this different stuff. He's like, I'm just
trying to grind out a score. Like,
you just go play.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there are probably a lot of guys going, well, if the wind is going 12 miles per hour due west.
Bryson DeChambeau.
I don't get all like bent out of shape too because like the wind's going to screw you sometimes. Like sometimes you get a shot, it gusts, it lays down, whatever. And like a lot of guys like freak out and like pack it in. They're like, oh, well, that's a good shot, and it gets screwed. But it's like, that's going to happen. Like it just, sometimes it helps too. Sometimes you get a bad shot, it saves you to 20 feet and you make it for birdie. So I feel like that's one of my strengths, which I would say one of my weaknesses is when it's a perfectly calm day and playing easy, I get lapped a lot of times. So that's something I need to work on.
We need bad conditions.
Yeah.
All right, so in this national championship, as you win that thing, the question is, that's your sophomore year, but that's the pinnacle of NCAA golf. So now what is your thought process as you're going into the next year? It's like, well, now I have to what, like repeat?
Yeah.
Right? Because anything else is lesser than what I've accomplished, right?
Yeah. So Coach Malloy and I sat down literally that night And he's like, what do you like want to do? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, as far as like, do you have any interest in turning pro? Or like, what's the thought process? I'm like, we talked about it for probably 20 minutes, and I pretty much came to the conclusion. I'm like, I am not ready at all. Like, I have no clue what's going on. I don't know. And golf's kind of the PGA Tour now is a little better, but you have to stay 4 years. But there's nowhere to go. Like, I would have turned pro, got a couple, sponsor invites probably. But like, if I go play average in those, I'm just nothing. I had no status going to Q school. So I was like, this is just not. There's no reason for me to turn pro right now. So I was like, let's just go back junior year, try to do good there, and then I'll be more prepared after junior year. Then we can reassess. So then I get to junior year, I play good again. I think I win 4 times my junior year. Don't win the national championship, but like have a.
Who wins the national championship your junior year?
I think
see if you guys can pull up the next year.
I mean, you
can
can Brock
just
Everett.
We'll see. That was 20. You said 2018.
2018. It was at Karsten Creek, which that place ate my lunch too. That place is impossible.
So this is your junior year. Do you do well in the national championship or no?
I did not play well.
Oh, you played.
Oklahoma State won it.
Yeah, I probably finished like
individual Brock Everett.
Brock Everett.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Do you remember him? You got smoke with him?
I don't have smoke with him. No.
Okay.
I do know him though, because the assistant coach I committed to. I said I committed early to Ole Miss.
Matt Wolf on there.
Yeah, I committed to. His name's Coach O'Keefe. He actually works for Simmons Bank now. I was saying one of my sponsors, and he was the coach of Augusta State, where that kid was playing when he won. So it was kind of an interesting deal there. He's walking with him all day. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, all these leaderboards are just stacked.
Scotty Scheffler's sitting there at 6th again.
Oh, dude, the Walker Cup team in 17 that Braden was on, it's him, Scotty Scheffler, Colin Morikawa, Cam Champ, Will Zalatoris.
Yeah, I'm a scrub on that team.
Bro, that
hopefully
team,
not for long.
But that team was loaded.
Yeah, it's pretty much a Ryder Cup team. You just fast forward 8 years, it could be a Ryder Cup team and compete.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
and a lot of people look at that as the best of the Walker Cup teams.
We
right?
talked about that on the subpar, and I was like, I mean, maybe it doesn't have the wins yet. Like but it's close already, and it's only been
just on the strength of Scheffler.
Yeah,
exactly. And
Morikawa's got 2 majors,
got 2
right?
Also,
I mean, I don't see how it would not be at the end of it for sure. Like,
right.
It's just all the way through. Like, guys, I talked about on there. Like, I think Zalatoris and Scheffler were the last 2 guys on that team, and it's like Sam Burns didn't make that team. Like, it was just that strong, which he should have. He was like the Nicholas Player of the Year that year, so that made no sense. But that's a different argument.
Politics.
I guess. But yeah, some sort of politics that I'm not in on. But.
All right, so now after your junior year, it ends with you not winning the national championship, and I guess it's another decision time,
we talk
right?
Again, and I'm like, okay, now's probably the time. Like I've won, I think, 11 tournaments in 2 and a little, like the last 2 my freshman year, and then I guess 9 in those 2 years. So I'm like you said, there's not a whole lot more I want to accomplish. I would love to win a USAM, stuff like that, but there's not that many opportunities to do stuff like that. But so we talk, and I'm like, I'm pretty much ready to go pro, but again, there's no like route exactly. Like it's not like other sports you can just go like I'm declaring or whatever and get drafted.
I'm going pro.
Yeah, it's just like
okay, now what?
Yeah, so it's like I'm like, okay, so if I turn pro right now, what's the move? I'd get some sponsor invites more than likely, and then I'm going to go to Q school in whenever, October. And it's like I might as well just go to school. And if I stayed an amateur going to Q school, I would get to go straight to second stage instead of starting at first stage, like if I turned pro. So I was like, why don't I just go to school my senior fall, do Q school, get to start at second stage. So I do that, get to second stage, get through, get to final stage, and get play good enough to get partial status on the Korn Ferry. So I'm like, or it was web.com at the time, but the Korn Ferry Tour, and I was essentially like, all right, this is time, because if I don't turn pro now, play the spring, then I have to wait till the next year to even have another chance, which I could go miss, and then all of a sudden I'm in no man's land, So it was kind of a turning pro after junior year was probably the right time, but there was almost no reason to, so I might as well just stay in school. So like people were like, why'd you leave a semester early? It was almost more of I stayed a semester late, if you know what I mean?
Right.
So, but I think it was a good move, honestly, and got to get out there at the right time and just.
So then you go to Korn Ferry.
Yeah, so I go to Korn Ferry. I have a couple. So I didn't have full status. That was a tough decision because it was like I finished, I think, 70th out of like 150 at Q school, and top 40 got like full status. So I was like, okay, like I'm probably, can probably get, the nice thing about being like a top AM is I can probably get some spots.
Okay, but now here, let me stop you for a minute. Because I think there's probably a lot of people watching and they're going, okay, you just talked about all these guys that were your peers, right? So Scheffler, Morikawa, Hovland, who else did we mention? Zalatoris, all these different guys. How did they get on the PGA Tour so fast?
All those guys did Korn Ferry too. They had to go. Like a guy like Victor Hovland or Colin got out there and won. Matt Wolf was in there. He won or finished second. So
That's what I was saying. They left college, go to the Korn Ferry, win on the Korn Ferry.
No, that was on the PGA. So when I was saying they get a few sponsor invites, you could go finish 15th in all of them. It's not going to do anything. You have to win, which they got lucky enough to. They did win in those short spans.
They won an event
or finished second.
on a sponsor event.
So Victor Hovland actually did not, and he had to go to Korn Ferry Finals, which was the end of the Korn Ferry year, and he got it there. There's like a 3-event thing, which they got rid of, which is kind of controversial because guys like him, that's how a lot of those guys got it.
Yeah.
Because you could go there and so you had to finish top 125 on the PGA Tour money list in those short amount of events you get. So those guys that win or finish second get it. But if you finish, like I said, let's say you finish 20th every week, and that'd be great playing, but you're not getting that huge chunk of points because you're competing against guys playing 35 events. So you could get top 200 instead of top 125, go to these Korn Ferry Finals, earn your way that way to get your PGA Tour card. So that's what that was the realistic route if you turn pro and we're trying to do it through the PGA Tour. But,
so when you leave and you say, all right, and you get partial status on Korn Ferry, how many events are you getting to play in that first year on Korn Ferry?
So if I did no kind of reshuffle, probably 3. It's very
3?
little. Yes, but my plan was I was like,
congrats on being pro.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because I'm going pro.
Yeah.
And now I get to play on, and I've got.
And there's 25 events. Yeah. So you're done if you only play 3. But if I could get a spot, so every 4 events or 8 events, there's a reshuffle. So if I could get in one of the first ones, play well, like a Monday in or an invite, get in, reshuffle, I'd play the rest of the year. So that was made it the tough decision. So it was do I stay in school and risk doing this again the next year? Or do I go ahead now and kind of bet on myself a little bit? So I was like, screw it, I'm going. Turned pro, got an invite, missed the cut by 1.
Oh, God.
Monday in the next.
I mean, at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
That's got to be the most upset you've ever been.
Yeah. So and it was so 65 people make the cut. It was T66. It was right there. I'm like, oh my gosh. So then I go the next week, Monday in, shoot 63, 9 under at this course in Florida, Monday into the Tampa event. Missed the cut. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, what is going on? And didn't play terrible, but just. I mean, I think, I don't know, I probably shot 3 or 4 under.
It just speaks to how competitive this is.
So I was like, man, I'm not in a good spot now. So I finally get in a tournament later, make the cut, finish 60th. Don't do anything stressful, but that moves me ahead of a lot of people. I play the rest of the year, and I think I finished 5th in 1, 7th in 1. So I played some good golf, but I finished 101, top 100 keep status.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah, I'll be honest.
Come on, bro.
Yeah,
This is
101 is crazy.
So I'm like, golly. So I go the next year.
101.
Yeah, so back to Q school, which I would have been doing anyway if I'd have turned pro later. So back to Q school. But
you don't have to do Q school if you're 100.
So you wouldn't have full 75 has full status, but 100 has status on the Korn Ferry. You'd get in some events. Yeah. So 101, nothing. Back to first stage of Q school.
That is brutal.
And it's one of those things too. It's all right, congrats on this great junior career, college career. First stage, just like everyone else. There's no help at that point. So
you've got to play your way.
Yeah. So get through first. Get through second, win final stage this time. Instead of finish 70th, win it, which now would get you on the PGA Tour. That was in 2019, so that was kind of an unfortunate thing too. But so get full status.
You bad luck, Braden.
Well, it keeps going a little bit.
Yeah. So bad luck, Braden Thornberry.
All right, so full status.
This is crazy.
December 2019 is when I win. I get full status for 2020. Then March of 2020, we know what happens.
It's COVID.
So 20.
Come on,
so
20.
Bro. So the 2020-2021 season are combined, and I get all the way to the end. I didn't play amazing in the season. I finished 55th. Top 25 get cards, but the top 75 went to those finals I was talking about. Missed it by 1 shot there. It was crazy. I had to birdie the last 4 holes. I went birdie, 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 and I had 12 feet on the last hole and burned the edge. I'm like, dude, this is maybe just not meant to be. I feel like there's all these people around that I feel like I'm playing as good or better than, and they're just getting out there willy-nilly, all this kind of stuff.
And you're 1 shot away every time.
Do you ever feel like you're no, F this? Do you ever feel like, yo, I should be doing
I'm like, what else do I do?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I feel you.
Bro, I swear to God, when I first ran into Braden, I said, look, somebody had told me that you were done with golf, and I said because you were selling for anybody that plays golf. Instructors all have these things called TrackMan, and a TrackMan is it's an apparatus. It's like a little box, right? And you would see them if you ever watch any golf stuff. But I could set up this TrackMan next to me while I'm practicing. I hit the ball, and it's going to tell me my spin rate. It's going to tell me how far that thing went. It's going to tell everything about that, online, offline, impact, everything, right? They're over $20,000. whatever. And I saw Thornberry selling his on Twitter, and I was like, bro, I just saw Thornberry was selling his TrackMan. They're like, I think he's done playing golf or whatever. Like, he just, you know.
So the 2022 season, I lost my Korn Ferry card. So it was like close to getting my PGA, like 3 different ways, lose my Korn Ferry card. Again, didn't play necessarily horrible, just didn't have any like high finishes, and the points are super top heavy. Finished like 105, so lose status. I'm like, man, like I don't have, like I've been spending a lot of money. Like just the Korn Ferry, it's about 75 grand probably a year to like your expenses and everything. So if you don't play well, like you're getting smoked.
You're losing money.
Yeah, I lost money. I lost a lot of money that year, yeah.
Do you think you, post Ole Miss, do you think you have made or lost money?
Before this year, some sponsor stuff was nice out of college. So that helped me. But just on the golf course, my first 4 years probably didn't really make any money.
Because you got to pay for travel, caddy, and entry.
Yeah, travel.
So if you and
hotel,
what is it?
flights.
If I get 20th in a Korn Ferry event, what's my payout?
Now it's gotten more. The last year so when I started, it was $550,000 purses for everybody. So if you finished 20th, you probably got $6 grand, something like that. Now it's probably like,
which is barely covering,
grand.
right?
Yeah. So I mean,
if I'm playing in Arizona, I'm barely covering that.
Yeah, I mean, you're paying $1,000 for a hotel. Obviously, you can live, like, you can try to stay in host housing every week. You can drive more, all that kind of stuff. But when you're playing 10 weeks in a row, you got to live somewhat comfortably to perform well, too. Like,
right.
So it's not like other sports where they're putting you up in nice places and good recovery. Like, everything's on you.
So let's get to 2022 because I cut you off. So in 2022, you lose Korn Ferry.
2022, lose
now
Korn
what?
Ferry.
I sell my TrackMan.
Go to Q. Yes, yes. So I'm like, I don't know if this was before or after Q school, but go to first stage, get through. I'm like, okay, I've pretty much gotten through pretty much every stage I've ever done. So I'm like, all right, I can do this.
You just have to keep going back.
First stage, yeah.
This is like the end of the line.
Yeah.
I could, theoretically.
You would start the same place as I was after that year.
Yeah.
Think about
he's
this.
the national champion.
No, but we would go to the same place. You just have to spend.
Crazy.
You just spend the money. I could go to that.
In Q school, when I played it in 2020, I guess the last couple years, it was $6,500 to enter. That's before hotels, flights. I mean, you're spending $15 grand to play Q school if you go all the way through. So,
but theoretically, I could, like you guys know, I could go sign up for this and just go do it. So he has no advantage of becoming a PGA Tour pro over me, except the fact that he's awesome at golf.
There's an idea for the show. You go through Q school.
But they will take my money if they want you, right? You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
And so now you're just back of the line again.
So
even though you've been on the Korn Ferry, why do they keep making you do
I think
this?
there's so many people for so limited spots, it has to be cutthroat. Like, it just has to be, like, because if you're on the Korn Ferry, there's 156 guys playing every week. Only 75 keep their card at the end of the year, like full status, and then 100 keep, somewhat status. So like it's pretty cutthroat, yeah. And so I lose status, and then I guess it was in 2022, I go to Q school in the fall, get through first, miss it second. So I'd never miss, and if you miss it second, you have nothing. So I'm like, wow, I got nothing for the whole rest of this year. So I go to European Q school, get like Challenge Tour status. So I didn't really have even great status there. So I had essentially nothing all year. So that's when I sell.
In 2022, you don't even get past the second round of Q school.
Yeah, so there's first round, second round, and then the final stage. I miss it second. So if you get to the final stage, you have somewhat of status. Like, I'm a Korn Ferry player, but not necessarily getting an event.
Are you considering packing it in at this point?
No, I mean, because like we just talked about, I was like, I feel like I can be on the PGA Tour. Like, I could and would have been multiple times over with different rules and different, all this kind of stuff, because they move the lines all the time.
Or a different break, yeah.
Yeah, so I never had any thought of quitting or anything like that. But when I missed that, I'm like, I have to like pay to live for the next year. I can't really get a job because like I have to practice every day. You know what I mean?
I can't get a job.
So like I can't like. If I do that, it's done. Like a lot of times when guys, they think they can go work for a year and go to Q school, and it usually just ruins you if you're not in it every day.
Yep.
So that's when I sell the TrackMan. I'm like, I can get a little. I think I made
this was just for money.
Yeah, just for money.
I have this valuable piece of equipment.
I sold that for like 14 grand. So I was like, all right, that's nice to have.
Yeah.
It was just to get me through money. But I mean, I would say in 2023, I mean, I'd have to think I lost probably $40,000 or something like that. Yeah. Just from, I was doing Monday qualifiers, paying for Q school, playing like a random events I'd get in, I'd pay, and making no money essentially. So that was tough. So the end of 2023, I'm like, all right, Q school again.
In the meantime, you have like had a girlfriend and now, right, you're engaged?
Yeah, fiance, yeah. and she was supporting us too.
How are you engaged while this is going on?
Yeah,
but she a real one, bro. She a real one. That's how you find out
the whole time.
That's how you find out who a real one, man.
That's incredible.
Absolutely. So it's nice, honestly, to go through something like that and like know who you're. I guess I didn't like lose any friends. I'm not saying like people bailed on me or anything, but like for like her to do that and like all of my friends, like coaches I work with, my agent, everyone stuck with me. There was never any wavering of that. That meant a lot to me. And now
Simmons Bank, your
yes,
sponsor, right?
They stuck with me and still paid with me the year I had no status. So that was huge for me. So that was that's something to me I feel like indebted to them a little bit. Of like,
well, they're betting on the come, as they say,
that,
right?
And just like Mr. Macris, the CEO, or he's the main guy in charge there. He was like, we're picking you guys. It was me and Zalatoris, Dawson Armstrong, Kevin Doherty. He's like, you guys are our guys. Like, we want to see you succeed, and like, we're not in it just for like the money and exposure. Like, you're our stable guys, and they've added to it since then, but they still have all those guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they're trying to. Some have made it. Some have lost status. Some have gotten to the tour. So at the end of 2023, back to Q school, and I'm like, all right, I need to like do something here. Like this is like a career probably moment. Because if you're 2 years off and like you're in your prime, 25, 26 years old at the time, I'm like, all right, I got to do it. So I'm doing Korn Ferry / PGA Tour Q school and European Q school at the same time, like going like first, second, doing that. So get through both firsts, get through both seconds, go to European Q school and miss full status by one there. So, and these aren't missed by. It's so weird is these aren't missed by ones like bogey in the last. They're like birdie in 16 and 18 and missing by one, like finishing earlier, and it just works out. So it's a bunch of that, and then so go to Korn Ferry, finish 28th, which top 40 at full status. I'm like, all right, I'm back. Like I have somewhere to play now, and so then I went out there this year and was able to really play probably my best season overall. I actually put myself in contention a bunch of times, probably 6 times or so. I had a chance to win on Sunday out of like 25 events, which in golf, that's really good unless you're Scotty Scheffler. But,
yeah, right.
But so and like wasn't quite having the Sundays I wanted. I would be in, second place. I was in second place, I think 3 or 4 times, and I'd finish like 12th, 15th, 17th, just shoot like even or 1 under on Sunday. Like not terrible, but just not like clicking and, popping off and shooting that 65. So, comes all the way down to the last event in French Lick, and I'm 51 on the points list. So I've kept my card, all this kind of stuff. Had some good finishes in the year, kept my card. But so all now it's like if I need to finish first or second this week, and I never had a top 2 finish on the Korn Ferry in 4 years. So I'm like, I need either a first or a second and go out there. I'm in like 15th through 3 days. I'm like,
first or second get you a PGA Tour card.
Yeah, first or second gets a PGA Tour card. Tied for second with more than one person, I don't get it.
Oh,
so
wow.
It can be like other people can affect coming down the stretch. If I'm in second with one guy and then one person makes a birdie, it can knock me out because the points take away.
And it's one tournament.
One tournament. So come down. I play good. I'm actually playing really good on Friday. I'm like probably in 3rd place. Make a triple on this. It's kind of a bad hole, honestly. The 16th hole. It's like from the tips, it's like 300 yards. Water on the right, like junk all down the left. We're playing at like 220. Hitting the water, make triple. I'm like, okay, that's probably like. You don't say this to yourself.
I'm not getting first or second place.
In your head, you're like, all right, like let's just try to have a good week. Like enjoy it. Like this is the last one of the year. I got some off time after that. So I think I birdie 18 after that. And then, I'm in, 25th place. Saturday, go out there, shoot maybe 2 under and like a little bit of a windy day. Move up to like 13th, 15th, something like that. And
how far off the lead are you?
I'm 6 off the lead, I believe. And
after
it's
2
a hard
days.
golf course, so like I'm not really thinking about winning or finishing second at this point. Like, it's bad to admit that, I guess, but I'm like, all right, let's just have a good day and like have a good week, basically. Make some money like for this off season, all that kind of stuff. And
you're not crushed by this. You're not sitting there going, "Oh my God, this is my chance," and here we go again. And
when you didn't have status the year before, the thought of locking up your Korn Ferry card doesn't sound too bad either.
Gotcha.
But so I'm like, all right. So my dad texts me either the night before or morning of, and he's like, basically along the lines of like, one amazing round can get your card. Like, just simple as that. I'm like, all right. I don't even know if I responded at the time, but just I kind of like went in my head a little bit. I was like, all right, that's true. So I go out there. It's blowing like 30. So
miles per hour.
Yeah. Like probably.
This is the 3rd round?
4th round. Last
Fourth round.
So it's probably blowing 15 when I tee off, and it's getting up to like gusts of probably 35, but blowing probably 25 constant. I'm like, all right, well, if there's a day I can catch up, it's today. Kind of what we were talking about with the national championship. Like, if I go out there and play great, the leaders are going to struggle. Like, maybe somebody doesn't, but for the most part. So I go out there when it's a little less wind, because I'm teeing off probably an hour and a half before the leaders. I'm like 4 under through 7. I'm like, all right, like I have to be in the mix. And I told myself I wasn't going to look at a leaderboard all day. Like if I was kind of up there, I get on 9, look at the leaderboard, I'm in solo second. I was like, okay. So literally
That's the first time you looked at the leaderboard?
First time I looked at the leaderboard was on number 9.
And your caddy's not telling you?
He was not telling. I told him I don't want to look at it. So walking from 9 to 10,
God.
I literally think, I'm like, all right, if I can shoot 4 under on this back 9, which is a big ask when it's blowing 30. But I was like, I've worked all my life. If I can shoot 4 under on this back 9, like I'll just take this tournament and be on the PGA Tour. So I was like, all right. So I go out there, birdie 10. I'm like, okay, now I got to be either in the lead. Like there's no leaderboard on that hole, but I got to be right there. So the cameras start to show up from the TV crew. I'm like, all right, sometimes that's like a little bit of a jinx because you're just kind of popping off, and then they start to show up, and like they're kind of in the way, moving a lot. It's pretty hectic, honestly. And so then I just stringed. It's playing so hard on this stretch, like 11 through whatever, like 11 through like 17. It's just playing really hard. I just grind out pars, all these holes. So I'm like, all right, I got to be looking pretty good. There was no leaderboards. I looked, I was still in like second, I think, at the time. So I'm right in the mix. 18, I'm like, birdie here will go a long way. And if I don't make a birdie here, I'm going to have to like live with it a little bit. Like it's a gettable par 5. So stripe it right down the middle. Absolutely perfect. Hit this mini driver from like 275.
You're not nervous?
I'm not that nervous. In a weird way, I've never felt this in my career. It almost felt meant to be. It really did. Like I was not near as nervous. I feel like the day before I would have been more nervous. And this is like Sunday right in crunch time. And I was like, it's going to be what it is. Hit that over the green, into the rough, a perfect shot, really tough chip, kind of going up and over this hill. I'm over the ball. I literally had this thought when I was chipping. I was like, I feel like I should be more nervous right now. And that was such a weird thing to be thinking, but maybe it was good that I was thinking something else other than the shot being hard.
Do you know where you are or what you need?
Yeah, leaderboard on 18, and I think I was T3. But a lot of these leaders haven't played these, like I was saying, 11 through 17 are brutal.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, if I get this up and down, like, I can live with myself. This is an amazing round. I birdied the last, whatever. So I hit up there to like this, which may look like a gimme, but under the circumstances blowing, I still had to take my time. So I make that, and I think I'm in third at the time. Go into the scoring, do my scores, or whatever. I'm like, then I can barely talk. I'm like shaking, like after it kind of hits me. Like I wasn't nervous on the golf course, but just I was like shaking and like hardly could talk after. It was weird. I've never felt like that. Sign my card. Get out there, we do an interview, and like as I'm doing the interview with Golf Channel, it like goes into second. And I'm like, all right. And they're like, what do you think? And I'm like, I'm not gonna root against anyone, but like obviously I hope I get it. But like it's playing hard, and like we'll see, basically. Like
so there's one guy ahead of you.
There's one guy ahead of me, and I'm like tied for second. So at the moment I'm projected like 30 or 29. In top 30, get your card. So I'm like, all right. So I have to sit in there in like the player dining area and just watch the coverage for like 2 hours as everybody comes in.
Who's in first?
Doc Redmond was in first at the time. And then it kind of went, there was carnage. It was Zach Boshu and Doc. It was playing so hard that like, and under the pressure, like Doc had to win. He couldn't finish second. And then Boshu had to finish like top 4 or something. So everybody's got a different scenario. So I'm in there just like way more nervous than I was on the golf course watching because I can't control anything. And it gets to a point where they're on like 17 that I'm like, I pretty much have it. Like, you don't ever want to think that way because like people could hole out on 18 or whatever, but I was like, I pretty much have it now. And like, I think, so Doc had to chip in for eagle, and then Brian Campbell was another guy. He'd already had his card locked up, but if he made birdie, if they both did that, I didn't get my card. And they're both up there by the green. So I'm like, crazier things have happened. Like the odds are certainly in my favor. And as soon as Doc chips and the ball goes past the hole, like I had my PGA Tour card. Like I was going to finish where I needed to in second or better. So Brian Campbell has like a 50-footer to force a playoff. So it was a weird feeling because it was like a sigh of relief. I got my card, but then still like I might have to go to a playoff with this guy, and that would determine my priority. I would have my card, which is great, but like the priority matters a lot too. So he misses that. The TV, they tell me that, you know, you won, you're tour bound, all that. And then I literally have never had that much emotion in my life. Like I'm not super emotional. Like I don't cry over stuff, all that, but like I couldn't get words out in that interview. It sounded so much better than like it felt. I felt like I couldn't even get the words out. So that was
because it's everything.
Well, I didn't have time to
It's 27
prepare.
years of your life that all come to this moment, right?
Yeah, I didn't have time to like think about it really, because like to start the day, like I was playing on the Corn Ferry the next year. You know what I mean? Like that was that. I don't want to like admit that, but like that's what you're thinking. Like the odds were 99.8% that I was not going to win that golf tournament or finish second, like with just where I was in the tournament. So I was like, all right, let's just go out there and have a good day. Let's see what happens. And then to like do that, have that weird deal of like not getting nervous in the perfect time, which I get nervous there and make par. I don't get it. If I don't get that ball up and down, I don't get my card. So to have that all come, I'm on the range warming up, which I've never had to do before since like college, and like it's been forever. And then for them to tell me I won, it's like so much emotion that I didn't have any, like, it's not like to start the week I was like prepping for it. Like most guys knew they could get it. I didn't really think I could get it starting, those last couple days necessarily. So it was so much just emotion packed into like 30 seconds that like I've never felt before. And like,
are your
all the
parents
stuff,
there?
My parents are not there because I wasn't supposed to get my card. You know what I mean? Like they would have been there.
This wasn't the moment.
Yeah, like if I was 15th, they would have been there. But like like everybody, like we were just not expecting. They had something going on. I don't remember what. But if I was 15th on the list, they would have been there, obviously. But yeah, it was just so much emotion. The only person I had there was my fiance, Grace. She was the only one that was there. So it was kind of a crazy moment that, like, because everybody else had all their families, all that kind of stuff, because like they were, they already had their cards or had a great chance of getting it. But like nobody else's families were there that were just.
So
playing
when
in the
does it
tournament.
really hit you? Does it hit you that night? Does it hit you the next day? Like, oh my God. I'm on the PGA Tour.
I think it hit me right then. Yes, I think it hit me right then. I had so much emotion right then. Like, I was just like I couldn't talk. It was weird. It was the same kind of feeling when I walked off the 18th green. Like, it was a more exaggerated version of that. But I just like didn't feel like I could like function normally, which was so weird because I just normally don't get that emotional. Like, I've cried over my like pet dying and stuff, but like I don't.
Did you cry in the interview?
Yeah, I cried in the interview.
Find it.
Pull it up.
Is it on YouTube or something?
It's
gotta be.
Yeah, it should be.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Yeah,
I want to see it.
Yeah, I could.
You're just totally overcome.
I could barely. And I talk about what we talked about was kind of some bad breaks and stuff. And I feel like you'll hear it in the interview, but I'm like basically like all the stuff that's gone bad, like for it to come around and like go good for me today, it's just like so like overwhelming and like just so thankful for that. So
that's incredible.
It was cool, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, you got it. If you just
You can see
YouTube
you're
Braden
getting a little
Thornberry
choked up.
cries,
When you hear
it's
it,
the
I'm
first
telling
thing.
you, it doesn't sound near as bad as it felt. I was like embarrassed when they were doing it. I'm like, I can't get words out right now. Like I swear to you, this is bad to say. Anytime anyone had ever like cried in an interview, I thought they were faking it somewhat. I thought they were getting it for the camera. I can say now they are not.
They're
it is
not
very
faking
true.
it. Yeah.
It is very true.
It just overtook you.
Yeah, I always thought like, I don't know, just like being dramatic.
They said we can't run it.
Yeah, we
the
can't.
Channel will flag you.
NBC and the Golf
don't
Channel.
play about
I'll watch it tonight.
They don't play about their clips.
Yeah, we had a meeting about the Olympics before that. It's like, don't mess with NBC.
All right, so now what is this? You got to explain to us, what does this mean now? Look, let's just let's cut through it. When can we watch and root for you on the PGA Tour?
So,
do you already have a schedule?
I have a rough schedule. The thing, like we said with the Corn Ferry, where you only get in a certain amount of events, getting a PGA Tour card isn't like you're in every event playing against Rory and Scotty. You're getting in, so there's full field events, the elevated events, all that kind of stuff, and you have a priority ranking. And so I'm 16, like the 30 guys got their card, I'm 16. So like I'll get in more events than the number 30 would, but like the number 2, 3, 4, 5 guy are going to get in more than I am.
So how many events are on a season?
Like 35 or 40.
And how many are you going to get to play, do you think? If you don't win. Because if you win a tournament, then you get to end up playing.
If I have a normal year, let's say I keep my card in a normal year, I bet I play 23 events.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I'll be playing a
That's
majority.
a lot.
When you look at like the Valero Texas Open and like all those kind of events, like I'll be playing those.
But you have to win those or get very highly ranked in those
to get in the
order
elevated stuff. Yeah,
to play in the elevated.
And then like Memphis, for example, which is a huge goal of mine to get there. Like having played in the past and stuff, to get into that tournament, you have to finish top 70 at the end of the year, which is tough because there's 70 guys in the elevated event. So you pretty much have to work your way into that or win or something.
But there are guys that have done it. Jake Knapp did it last year.
Yeah, he won
and
in
there's
Mexico
some other guys,
early in
right?
the year. That's certainly possible, and that's my goal is to do that. But that's like if we talk about an average year, me playing well, keeping my card, which is the ultimate goal your first year because it's the hardest year to keep your card because you're kind of set behind the 8 ball a little bit. And so that would be the goal. But yes, you certainly can. And my goal is to go out there and, so the Sony Open in Hawaii is my first potential tournament. I'm probably I'm like 70% to get in that one, I would say. Last year I would have gotten in, but it would have been close. So hopefully that is my PGA Tour debut.
Which is
That's
when?
My January 9th is the first round.
January 9th.
I'm going to go out there regardless and do the qualifier and stuff, which is kind of crazy. You get your PGA Tour card and you might be in the Monday qualifier at the first tournament. So that's kind of a crazy deal. I feel like a lot of people don't quite understand, but it's really just a cutthroat sport to where if you play good and you're a baller, like you're rising to the top. And
will you play in the Scottsdale one?
Hopefully, I hope so. That's probably the one other than Memphis. That's probably the one I'd like to play the most.
Yes,
but that's everyone thinks that way, so it's hard to get in. So we'll see about that. If I keep my card, which I'm hoping to do, obviously, then I will be that in the next year. But this year I'd have to get they have sponsor invites for PGA Tour members too. Like there's different categories and stuff. So I'm trying to get one of those. So hopefully I'll be I've had some guys put in good words and stuff. So hopefully I'll get that, and that'd be sick, because that 16th hole, I don't want to experience that for actually hitting it. Even if you get booed, I don't care. That'd be awesome.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you think you're probably going to play 20-something events this year?
Yeah, I looked at last year, and like the guys, because it matters too how you play. You can reshuffle around like I talked about, but for the most part, the guys that finished around where I did on the list played 22 to 4 to 5, 20, something like that. So
is there a tournament that that either somewhere up in your in your junior career, amateur career, whatever, is there a PGA Tour outside of Memphis, because you're very familiar with Southwind and have had great rounds out of Southwind since you were 15 years old? Is there any others around the country that are PGA Tour tournament sites, in ones that you are gonna get to play in, that you look at and you go, man, if I could ever get on the PGA Tour, I played really great at that course?
Like you said, Memphis for sure. But I mean, I've played a handful. I think I've played 10 or 12 tour events, but I played fine in them. I think I've made 4 or 5 cuts out of the 12. And like I played in RSM that's going on this week. Played pretty good there in like 2017, but not really. I played in Greenbrier. That's not a tournament anymore. So it's really going to be a pretty fresh slate. I've played Farmers before, which will be my either second or third tournament, depending if I get in Sony. And I was like in 15th there at one point on Saturday. Didn't have a great Sunday. So I've played decent at a bunch of them. But no, I think I haven't played enough of them to really know. I'll have to get out there in the practice rounds and play this year, and then kind of develop probably which ones suit my game better. And you can kind of see that from stats and watching on TV and stuff. But like, I feel like when you get out there, you actually see the tee shots, if they're comfortable or not, and stuff like that.
So I read somewhere that tell me if this is true, that you hold 5 course records.
I think that should be about right.
Is that true? What courses?
I can't even name them right now. Southwind, I tied it, but it was from shorter tees. But I was 15, so it kind of goes
61?
Yeah, 61 at Southwind. I shot 60 at North Creek, which isn't a course anymore,
It's
which is
not.
sad. That is. I saw that. I drove over there earlier this
Lanier
year.
Hurdle used to run that place years ago.
Yeah, I love
Those
that
are a
golf
great
course.
course.
I love that golf course. It was like actually a pretty good course to like practice on, because it was super easy. You could go out there, like I probably shot under 65 every time, because it's like you're driving greens and par 5s are hitting wedges into. So it's not a challenging golf course, but there's a lot of cool holes with like water everywhere. And
it's just gone, right?
Yeah, it's like grown up. It's sad. Like a lot of courses. What is it? Germantown Country Club grew up too, and
well, no, it's sold.
Yeah,
they're like,
that's crazy.
So you think?
I don't know where the other ones are. I'm trying to think of other. I do remember.
What's the lowest score you've ever shot?
60 at North Creek.
60.
Yeah, that's low. I've never shot in the 50s. I would say most pros have shot in the 50s in casual. But I was telling you, I don't play that good in casual golf. Like if we went out right now, like at Spring Creek, I'd probably shoot like 2 under, 1 under. But like I feel like I never like pop off, and I don't know if it's a concentration thing or preparation or I don't know what it is. But
You're
like,
just good when it comes to tournaments.
I feel like just being like a gamer a little bit. I like enjoy. Yeah, I'd rather be that way, because there's a lot of guys that be like at home. You know, you always hear in the off season of like every sport, like this guy's balling. Like I'd be shocked if he doesn't like tear it up and stuff. And like guys will do that and then come out there and finish 40th, miscut. And you're like,
so
all right.
Casually, you don't go and play for money?
No, when I lived in Dallas, I played like Davis Riley, Taylor Moore, and those guys. We played like basically every day, and we did play for money. And there, actually, this is actually funny. I started playing really good casually, and that was the year I lost my card. So maybe there's something. I never thought of that, but maybe there was something to that. Yeah, we were like battling it out every day and like playing some really good golf. That was probably golf's just such a weird game. I think 2022 was probably, before this year, was the best year I ever played, and I lost my card. So it's like it's just such a fine line of like just succeeding and not in the sport. It's weird.
And so you think probably January is going to be the first time that you're going to be out there.
So hopefully I get in Sony, which I actually think could be a good golf course for me, because it's all Bermuda, it's windy. So that would be nice. If getting off to a good start is really important, like on tour, just to get ahead of the 8 ball with all the reshuffles and all that kind of good. You have to worry about all this stuff the first year. Once you keep your card, which this year they moved it to 100, which is going to be tougher. But if I can finish top 100 this year, then I'm in basically, not in the Elevate events, but like I'm a full member. I'm in everything I want to play essentially. And like the goal is just to like win tournaments. Like that's really this year.
Well,
it's
and
like
this is your chance too. And look, I mean, there has to be a part of you that as you're going through all these trials to get to this moment, you're sitting there going, we put up, from the time you were 13 years old, we put up all these leaderboards where you're sitting there going, now hold on now. Scotty Scheffler's doing this, Morikawa's doing this, Burns is doing this, Cam Champ's doing this. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah,
like you have always you've always competed with those guys. You've always been on that level with those guys.
It was frustrating, dude. I mean, it was tough. Like, I didn't let it bother me probably as much as you could, but like it still did a little bit. Like to see, I'm like, I was just playing with these guys and like, finishing second to them or beating them. And I'm like, we were right there. And then all of a sudden I turn pro and like, I'm having these weird struggles and they're just like winning majors. I'm like, what's the difference here? Like, I don't feel like I'm worse. Like, I've definitely
I call these guys, honestly, now that we deal with it, they all know each other from AAU from the time they were 13.
Yeah.
You're going to walk in the PGA locker room, they're going to be like, hey, Braden.
Yeah, 100%. I probably know more guys on the PGA Tour than Korn Ferry. Even though I played over there just from growing up. Like, it's crazy.
They're like, hey, nice for you to join us.
And like I was saying with Davis Riley and Taylor Moore, like, we were playing on the Korn Ferry a couple years, got really close. We're playing practice rounds every week, and then they get their PGA Tour cards, and I'm still there. Then the next year I lose mine. I'm like, damn, like, am I like, I just don't think I'm worse than they are. And just all of a sudden, they're having all this success. Like, what am I doing wrong? So I worked on some stuff in the year I didn't have status. I worked on getting a little longer. Like, kind of worked on my short game and stuff, but really didn't change anything. And then get my PGA Tour card. It's just such a weird game with that, and it's all about momentum and confidence, and which I have now, which it falters when you start to like not have success, but. Hopefully we're on the right side.
Has your life changed?
Not really.
No.
I got an apartment.
Not really.
I was living with my grandparents, but when I didn't have status, and
you were,
I was gonna move down to my parents' house. They were building their house and kind of have this little like apartment connected to like the barn. I was gonna move in there for free, and then once I got my car, I'm like, all right, I think I can afford an apartment now. So yeah, that's the only purchase I've made.
Sponsor-wise, though,
sponsor-wise,
they start to reach out now. All of a sudden, all those things that you dream of happening, right?
Yeah.
Now, Simmons obviously has been great to you and stuck with you, but like, I'm sure somebody wants to sponsor your hat, somebody wants to sponsor your shirt, somebody wants to sponsor your clubs, right?
Yeah. I mean, on Korn Ferry, you kind of have to like beg for like a handout a little bit. Like, somebody has to be interested in you or interested in something to like help you out a little bit, and you'll get a little exposure. Like, there's some on TV, like you're doing some events and stuff, but like for the most part, there's not a whole lot of like return on investment to those guys. But on the PGA Tour, they have all these metrics of, I think it was like the Nielsen score or something like that, where like they can actually tell you like how many times it was seen like straight on from the side, all this, and like, you're driving a lot of, viewership. Like when Will Zalatoris, he almost won the Masters. They said that, I don't remember what the number was, but like they covered their golf budget for like 5 years just off that one day. So it's like,
wow.
So like they got I don't know what the number was, but they
next
got
thing you know, you're watching Joel Embiid from a suite. Thanks, Will.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
No, it really just takes one time.
Yeah. So their investments on the Korn Ferry are certainly all sponsors on the Korn Ferry are like, we can get you now, give you some money, which is very helpful on the Korn Ferry, like we talked about. And then they can get a lower price on the PGA if you go ahead and lock in like a 2 or 3 year deal. Whereas opposed to, if I'd never heard of Simmons Bank and they came to me now, the number would probably be higher. You know what I mean? So there's like a loyalty aspect, which them staying with me when I didn't have status, that was such a big deal that like I feel, definitely like loyal to them. They're loyal to me. That's like a great feeling to having a sponsor. And they're great people. Like they have all this stuff. I went over to their Champions Tour event. Like having a real relationship with a sponsor is very nice compared to just feeling like it's just corporate and they're just using you just for like the image and stuff. So that's been very nice with them. And hopefully I don't have anything like signed yet, but with the other potential sponsors like we're talking to, it feels like a similar type deal. So hopefully that'll come through by like, January 1st.
What would be a dream sponsor for you?
A dream sponsor?
Yeah,
I've always wanted
your phone rung and they called you.
Well, I'm a big Supercross guy, the dirt bike stuff. Yeah. So something like Rockstar Energy or something would be sick.
Hey, yeah. We got C4 over there. Yeah. He's a C4 guy over there, man.
I need Rockstar, like Kawasaki, Yamaha. That'd be sick.
And we got to find them a way on something, whether it's the towel, the bag, side of the hat. We got to get a Grizzlies logo on there somehow.
Grizzlies right on the sleeve would be perfect right here.
Oh, that would be perfect.
I got to, what's actually funny about the timing of stuff. So this past year on the Korn Ferry, I didn't get off to an amazing start. And I'd been wanting a dirt bike for a long time. And I just didn't get it. I was like, I don't have the money. Like, I don't need to get hurt on it, all this kind of stuff. In March, I finished some term. I finished like 20th and got a little chunk of money. And I was like, screw it, I'm getting a dirt bike. Like, I'm not going to like ride it hard and get hurt or anything. But I was like, I just want to have one just to like mess around with. So I go by this like Kawasaki 250, and it's at my parents' house, like they're laying down there, and then right after that, I started to play really well. That was like literally right then I started to go on a little bit of a tear. So I don't know, maybe it just made me happier, and I was able to.
That you had
something
bike,
to
right?
it. There's something to it. Yeah.
You could say Kawasaki helped me out. I don't know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, brother. I can't wait to watch. I can't wait to watch.
Yeah. Hopefully, early in the season, get in contention a few times. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, and then we get you here in Memphis.
Yeah.
All you got to do is get in that top 70, right?
Yeah. Top 70, get in Memphis, and then roll from there and get to East Lake. That'd be sweet.
Oh, yes. Congratulations, man. What a cool story and what a long
Appreciate
road,
it.
right?
Yeah.
It's
been a crazy up and down.
We'll be checking in with you throughout the season because you're gonna be our favorite golfer. We're gonna be rooting for you throughout the year. Oh, before you get out of here, are you okay with the Ole Miss ranking right now?
I'm actually very happy with the Ole Miss ranking.
Do you not? You want them to not play in the SEC championship like your coach?
I don't want them to play in the SEC
championship. Your coach doesn't want to play in it either.
Which is they need to figure that out because you don't want teams not wanting to play in the conference championship. So I don't know. Maybe you give immunity to losses in the championships. I don't know how you do that because it's still going to be the eye test if you get smoked by a team. But I don't know. I'm very happy that we were ahead of Tennessee and Georgia. I thought they were going to put Georgia back ahead. So I don't know. I just think that it's the rhetoric right now of everybody's like, you don't want to meet Ole Miss in the playoffs, and I think that's very helpful for us to keep us in. So I think now I think we're 9. I think if we handle business the next 2 weeks, I would have to think we're pretty much going to get in. So, I'm always worried about Mississippi State game though. It's going to be their Super Bowl. Knock us out. That's
on Thanksgiving too.
It is going to be their Super Bowl.
Yep.
Braden Thornberry. Thanks to Braden Thornberry. Thanks to Devin Walker. Thanks to John Rose across the glass. Who do we have back in the studio? Jacob. Thanks to Jacob back in the studio.
Did you bring up the Tigers game tonight, 9 o'clock, for someone to watch?
No.
Tigers play tonight, 9 o'clock tonight. Tap in.
Oh, is this San Francisco?
At Chase Center, yeah.
This is the San Francisco game?
Yep.
All right. What channel is it on?
Probably ESPN Plus.
I think so, too.
Yeah, probably ESPN Plus.
All right, we'll check them out. 9 o'clock tonight?
9 o'clock tonight, yeah.
Perfect. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, we gone.